Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Days. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about in case of emergency. Danny and I have been talking a lot about preparedness and hopefully, just trying to help people know that they do need to be prepared. They need to have a way to have food stored and things like that. But this in case of preparedness came from Bette's Box of Blessings. This time she really outdone herself with some of these things, and I can only say it every time. She really does. The one book is called 101 Emergency Bible Verses. And I'm going to read one right quick. This one's Be Confident. It's from Hebrews 13:6. So we may boldly say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Right, that's from the New King James, okay? I'm going to read this, and it's hard for me to hold a camera and read and do all this at one time, but we're going to try it. When we focus on our doubts and fears, we can concoct a lengthy list of reasons to lie awake at night and fret about the uncertainties of a coming day. A better strategy, of course, is to focus not upon our fears, but instead upon God. In an emergency, you need confidence. And if you're a Christian, you should be extremely confident. After all, God's promises never fail, and his love is everlasting. So the next time you need a boost of confidence, slow down and have a little chat with the Creator, okay? It says, count your blessings, not your troubles. Focus on possibilities, not problems. And remember that with God on your side, you have absolutely nothing to fear. So this little book, 100 Emergency Bible Verses, was in the box. As always, they send a little gift. This is a keychain. It says all things. And it comes in this cute little metal box that you can use for other things. So it's pretty cool. They send cards, a variety of cards every time, always from Dayspring. These cards are awesome. One of them was for a caregiver, a baby shower, an anniversary, just a whole supply of things. Speak. This book kind of took me by surprise, guys. I read the foreword and I was hooked. And then when I started reading the first chapter, it was just making a lot of sense in a lot of ways. I want to read some of the foreword and then let you decide on your own, but it spoke to me. The conversation our culture is having right now can hardly be called a conversation. It is so pitched, so loud, so obsessed with being heard, and not at all concerned with hearing. We label and stereotype. We identify who's in and who's out. We define ourselves by who we vote for, what cars we drive, what zip codes we live in. And we define others by who they vote for, what car they drive, and what zip code they live in. Our culture specializes in boxes, in categories, in labels. We think we know everything there is to know about somebody because they send their kids to this or that school, or because they go to this or that church, or because they have this or that sticker on their car. And this is why story matters. Because when you listen to a story, you have to give up your stereotypes and your labels. Because stories crawl out of the boxes every chance they get. Because stories zig when you think they'll zag. Stories surprise us around every corner. Stories reach out and grab our labels and shred them into confetti. And it goes on to tell a little bit about a story that she had. And then it says, aren't we all impossible, crazy making, cartoons, walking stereotypes? Until somebody sticks around long enough to hear our story on how we got there, what winding journey brought us along, what diagnosis and hospital room and fear made us who we are. A wise friend of mine is teaching me to ask these questions every time I disagree with someone. How did that person come to feel that way? And what part of that person's story do I need to know to understand what he or she is telling me right now? Wouldn't that change everything? When we listen, we're forced to stop our labels. When we listen to stories, there's no longer any room for stereotypes. We've had all the screaming and all the polarizing and all the labeling this world can handle. And the only way into a better future is an entirely new way. And that way is the way of storytelling and story listening. The way is about the details. The how we got there, the way the sky looked when she said that thing that changed everything. Because we've run the cartoon and label way into the ground, the cable news shouting matches are a dead end. The new way through is storytelling and story listening. It's unfamiliar at first and scary, but over time you find you begin to develop muscle memory for it. You find you begin to feel something like a holy curiosity for everything you see. What's her story? How did he come to feel that way? What is it that I don't know about her story? This is an exciting way to live. This is, I believe, a kingdom way to live, because instead of straw men and cartoons, we begin to dwell in an actual humanity, which was the plan all along. Story draws us together, hands and voices and memories. It bridges the distances we've created, because we thought the distance would keep us safe, but it doesn't. It only makes us lonely. So story is what it's talking about. This lady niece here talks about this, but I was reading the foreword a friend of hers wrote about it, and she talks about that niece talks about speaking really well, and she does. She brings out some good points. So Bette has done a really good job. The last book that she sent, and usually there's not 3 books, there's usually only 2, but this time she sent 3. 100 Days of Bible Promises. The one I chose to read today is Christ Doesn't Change. The one thing that most everyone can agree on is that change is certain. Change of seasons, change of jobs, change in appearance. As we grow older, change of heart as we experience both good and bad and trying times. Some changes are for our benefit, while others test our faith. That is why it's so reassuring to know one who has never changed and never will, Jesus. He is unwavering in his devotion, steadfast in his promises, and eternal in his love. He is the one and only rock that won't be moved or manipulated. Ever. Shout all praise to him. And that brings us to the CD, Healer. This has a lot of famous singers on it that I used to listen to all the time, and one of them is Carrie Joby. And I love to listen to this lady sing. So guys, you would enjoy the Healer. So Bette's Box of Blessings is always a blessing. It's always right on time. In case of emergency, you need God's Word. That's it. You need the confidence. You need to know that he's never, ever going to change. We may change, circumstances change, but God never changes. So thank you guys for joining me today with Bette's Box of Blessings.